Hi, if you're new here, my name's Kara, the digital nomad mom. My family and I sold everything we had to travel the world full time, and we've just wrapped up living in a van in Scotland, and now we're headed to our bucket list destination and our 12th country as a family, Iceland. We're so excited you're here to join along with us on our next adventure. We started our journey in Edinburgh, Scotland, where we ended our Scottish road trip with some local ice cream on the Royal Mile. After checking out of our hotel, we had an early morning flight to Reykjavík, which to our surprise was just a little over 2 hours long. We were honestly so tired from our week-long road trip in the van that we slept almost this entire flight, so it didn't take long for us to finally see the coastline of Iceland. We made it to Iceland! Yay! Okay, get the rental car.
We made it. Let's go.
We're in Iceland. So we've just stopped off over here at the supermarket. This is really nice because behind me is the Bonus. It wasn't open yet, so if you have an early morning flight, just know it's not going to open until 10 a.m. So we actually came over to the Kronan, which is just on the other side, and the prices were still really good. We got quite a bit of stuff for our little road trip that we're about to take, and we only spent about $45 US. So I totally forgot to mention that we literally only have 48 hours here in Iceland. So we're going to do all that we can to pack in as much as we can in these 48 hours that we have here. So on our first day, we decided to do the South Coast tour, which is a little over 2 hours of a drive from Reykjavík, where our first stop was the Black Sand Beach. We went in September, and it was honestly still pretty crowded at the beach with a lot of tour groups, but that still didn't take away how beautiful it was. However, I will say I have never experienced wind like this in my life. So just be prepared when you come here to bundle up because this wind is no joke, y'all. This is much better because it is not as windy as the Black Sand Beach. That was really cool, but I don't think I have ever felt winds that strong before. Zoe, were the winds strong?
It blew away, huh?
Yeah. And now we're about to go see the Skógafoss Waterfall here in Iceland. It is seriously so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Nothing can really prepare you for just how beautiful and majestic the landscape is in Iceland. It truly feels like you're honestly on another planet. I still cannot believe we are in Iceland. This is wild. So a lot of the places that you can park at to see the main highlights here in Iceland, they do have a scan QR code that you can pay for your parking, which makes it super easy to do. When you're driving in the south of Iceland, you can also stop by Rutshellir, Iceland's largest man-made cave, and if you're lucky, you can also admire some Icelandic horses. So is absolutely loving this. One of the things that really surprised us here and was really helpful as a family, especially traveling with a little one, is that at all of the major sites that you're going to see here in Iceland, they typically have some sort of cafe or gift shop, which also have bathrooms. Most of the time you'll need to pay for something in order to use the bathroom, but it is really nice knowing that you can stop along the way. Now, our next stop, and probably the place that I was the most excited to see, was Seljalandsfoss. Every time I pictured going to Iceland, it was this image that I had in my mind of this waterfall, so to see it in person was absolutely magnificent. Now, the plan was for Harley and I to take turns going underneath the waterfall, but Zozo had a different idea in mind. Zo, are you sure you want to go in the waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Waterfall?
Okay.
Right, let's go.
I know she looks absolutely miserable here, you guys, but honestly, she is still talking about going underneath the waterfall here in Iceland. She really loved this experience, and I'm really glad that we ended up getting these raincoats on Amazon. They were really easy to carry with us in our carry-ons, and they kept us super dry from this huge waterfall. After a full day of sightseeing in the south of Iceland, we drove back to Reykjavík, where we checked into our Airbnb and had a delicious meal at this all-vegan Vietnamese restaurant, before ending our night with, of course, getting some Icelandic ice cream. The next day, we decided to take it a little easier on ourselves and do the Golden Circle tour, which is closer to Reykjavik. We actually got our tickets for this tour of the Golden Circle on Viator, which was really nice because we didn't have to drive this day. So it actually made for a really relaxing day. The first stop on the tour was Thingvellir National Park, which was so cool to see. And I actually liked this spot the best out of all the 3 places that we went to on the Golden Circle tour. At each stop, we pretty much got about 25 to 45 minutes to explore on our own, with our second stop at the Strokkur geyser being our longest stop of the day. If you want to see the geyser go off, you're actually in luck here because the geyser goes off pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes. Even though this is the longest stop of the tour, after you see the geyser go off, there really isn't much more to see or do here, so we ended up just stopping by the cafe to have a quick bite to eat and also checking out the gift shop. And the last stop on the Golden Circle tour is Gullfoss Waterfall, which is absolutely stunning to see in person, but if we're going to compare all 3 of the waterfalls, my absolute favorite was Seljalandsfoss, and I think that's just because you can actually go underneath it. After all 3 stops, the tour dropped us back off in downtown Reykjavik, which, may I say, I absolutely love. It is such a vibe. It's so colorful and artistic and progressive. Don't skip Reykjavik when you come to Iceland. Now, of course, traveling with a toddler, there are some things that we did not get a chance to do, like going inside of a ice cave inside of the glacier. But the really cool thing is the Perlan Museum here in Reykjavik actually has a mock glacier ice cave that you can go into, and it's so authentic. It's such a cool experience, especially if you have kids, because kids can do it and go inside of it. And at the top of the museum is a cafe with amazing views of the city. We had an amazing time here in Iceland with the little time we had, and I highly recommend going as a family, even if you have small children, because this was something that almost deterred us from going. But Iceland really does have something for every age, and it's one of those places where you can have a new experience every time you visit. Next up, we're finally ditching our coats for some warmer weather because we are heading back to our home base of Syros, Greece. Earlier this year, we applied for our Greek digital nomad visas to make Greece our home base outside of the United States. We can't wait to show you what our life looks like living in one of the most beautiful countries in Europe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.